I heard the doorknob turn. Not a knock, not a rattle, a slow, deliberate turn, like someone who already had a key. I was home alone. The door was locked, and I watched the handle rotate all the way to the left before it stopped. These are 10 true stories submitted by viewers in 2025. Let's get into it. Story 1. The Airbnb check-in. Sarah booked a mountain Airbnb outside Asheville for a solo riding retreat. She arrived at 9 p.m. on a Thursday in March. The host said the lockbox code would be texted at check-in time. She pulled up to the cabin. Gravel driveway. One porch light. Trees pressing in from all sides. Her phone buzzed. Code was 4739. She punched it in, grabbed the key, and unlocked the front door. The cabin smelled like pine and something faintly chemical. She dropped her bag in the living room and walked to the bedroom. The bed was made. Fresh towels on the dresser. Everything looked fine. Then she noticed the closet door was open about 6 inches. She walked over and pulled it fully open. Empty. Just wooden hangers. She turned back toward the bed and froze. There was a phone charger plugged into the wall. iPhone cable. Still warm. Sarah checked the listing again. It said she was the first guest in 2 weeks. She texted the host. Was someone just here? 3 minutes passed. No reply. She walked back to the living room. Her bag had been moved. Not much, maybe 2 feet to the left. She specifically remembered setting it by the couch arm. Now it was in front of the couch. Her chest tightened. She checked the front door. Locked. She checked the back door off the kitchen. Also locked. Then she heard it. Upstairs. A single creak. Long and drawn out, like someone shifting their weight. The listing said it was a 1-story cabin. Sarah grabbed her bag and walked toward the front door. She turned the deadbolt and pulled. It didn't open. She yanked harder. Still stuck. The lock was turned, but something was holding it shut from the outside. She ran to the back door. Tried the handle. Locked from the outside too. She could see the keyhole on the exterior side through the window. Another creak from above. Slower this time. Closer to the edge of the ceiling. She pulled out her phone and called 911. As it rang, she looked up. There was an attic hatch in the hallway ceiling, the kind with a pull string. The string was swaying slightly. The operator answered. Sarah whispered her location and said someone was in the house. The operator told her to get outside immediately. Sarah said she couldn't. The doors were locked from the outside. The operator went silent for a beat, then said units were 8 minutes out. Sarah stood in the kitchen with a knife from the counter. The ceiling creaked again. She could track the movement now. It was heading toward the hallway, toward the hatch. She heard the faint scrape of wood on wood. The hatch was opening. Sarah ran to the front door and kicked it as hard as she could. Once, twice. On the third kick, the frame splintered and the door flew open. She sprinted to her car, threw it in reverse, and didn't stop until she hit the main road. When deputies arrived, they found the attic hatch fully open. A sleeping bag was spread out up there, an empty water bottle, a bag of trail mix, and a notebook with the Airbnb guest schedule written inside, including Sarah's check-in time. The host claimed he had no idea anyone was living in the attic. Sarah got a full refund. She's never stayed in an Airbnb alone since. Story 2. The carpool. Marcus shared a work carpool with 2 co-workers in Austin. Every weekday, same route. They alternated who drove. January 14th was his turn. He picked up Jen at 7:20 a.m., then swung by to get Colin. Colin lived in a complex off Burnett Road. Marcus pulled into the lot and texted him. Here. A minute later, Colin walked out. Navy jacket. Backpack. He opened the rear door and got in without a word. Marcus pulled out onto Burnett and merged toward the highway. About 2 miles down, Jen turned around and looked at Colin. You good? You seem quiet. Colin didn't respond. He was staring out the window. Jen tried again. Colin. He slowly turned his head toward her. His face was blank. No expression. He didn't blink. Marcus glanced in the rear view. Dude, you all right? Colin's mouth opened slightly, but no sound came out. Then he said, very quietly, Who's Colin? Jen laughed nervously. What? Who is Colin? He repeated. Same flat tone. Marcus felt his hands tighten on the wheel. Are you serious right now? The man in the back seat tilted his head. I don't know a Colin. Jen looked at Marcus. Her smile was gone. Marcus pulled off at the next exit and stopped in a gas station parking lot. He turned around fully. What is going on with you? The man stared at him. I'm sorry. I think there's been a mistake. Marcus felt his stomach drop. He looked at the man's jacket. Navy blue. Same as Colin's. But the stitching on the pocket was different. The backpack was a different brand. "Who the fuck are you?" Marcus said. The man's expression didn't change. "You texted me. You said you were here." Jen pulled out her phone and called Colin. It rang. And then, faintly, they heard a ringtone. From inside the gas station. Colin walked out holding a coffee. He saw Marcus's car, waved, and started walking over. Then he saw the man in the back seat. Colin stopped. "Who is that?" Marcus and Jen both turned to look at the man. He was smiling now, just slightly. "You said you were here," he repeated. Marcus told him to get out. The man didn't move. Marcus said it again, louder. The man unbuckled slowly, opened the door, and stepped out. He walked across the parking lot toward the street and disappeared around the corner. Colin got in and pulled out his phone. Marcus had texted him, but the number was one digit off. A number he'd never seen before. And that number had replied, "Be right out." Marcus called the police. They checked nearby cameras, but never found the man. The phone number was a burner. Disconnected an hour after the incident. Colin moved a week later. Marcus still drives the carpool, but now he makes everyone confirm with a voice call before they get in the car. Story 3. The Package. Alicia lived in a fourth-floor apartment in Brooklyn. February 9th, she got a delivery notification at 3:47 p.m. She wasn't expecting anything. She went downstairs. A brown box sat outside the building door. Her name and address were handwritten on the label in red marker. No return address. No shipping company logo. She brought it upstairs and set it on the kitchen counter. The box was light. She shook it gently. Something inside shifted. She cut the tape and opened it. Inside was a pair of glasses. Women's prescription glasses. Thin gold frames. She didn't recognize them. Underneath the glasses was a folded piece of paper. She opened it. It was a printed screenshot of her Instagram story from that morning. She'd posted a photo of her coffee at the cafe 2 blocks away. The screenshot was zoomed in on the window reflection behind her. Someone had drawn a red circle around a figure standing across the street. Alicia's hands went cold. She looked at the photo closer. The figure was too blurry to make out, but they were facing her direction. The timestamp on the story was 8:23 a.m. She put the paper down and looked back at the glasses. She picked them up and saw a smudge on one lens. She wiped it with her shirt. Underneath was a small engraving on the inside of the frame. AC. Her initials. Alicia hadn't owned glasses since high school. She got LASIK in 2022. Her phone buzzed. Instagram notification. A new message request. No profile picture. The username was just a string of numbers. The message said, "You left these at my place." She didn't open it. She blocked the account immediately. But another notification came through. A different account. Same message. She blocked that one too. Her phone buzzed again. And again. 5 accounts. 10. All with random number usernames. All saying the same thing. She turned off her phone and called the police from her laptop. They sent an officer to take a report. He said it was likely harassment from an ex or someone she'd rejected. He took the box and glasses as evidence. Alicia changed all her passwords and made her Instagram private. For 3 days, nothing happened. Then on February 12th, she got another delivery notification. Same time, 3:47 p.m. She didn't go downstairs. She looked out her window. A man in a gray hoodie was standing on the sidewalk, looking up at her building. He was holding a box. She called 911. The man set the box down and walked away before police arrived. Inside the box was a single item, a photo of Alicia asleep in her bed, taken from inside her apartment. The timestamp was from the night before. She moved out within a week. The man was never identified. The accounts were traced to VPNs in 3 different countries. The investigation is still open. Story 4. The Night Shift. Ethan worked overnight security at a warehouse in Tacoma. March 3rd was his 4th shift. The building stored medical equipment. Nothing valuable, nothing dangerous. His job was to walk the perimeter every 2 hours and check the locks. At 1:15 a.m., he started his second round, flashlight in hand. The warehouse was massive, 120,000 square feet. Rows and rows of metal shelving stacked 20 feet high. The only sound was the hum of fluorescent lights. He walked down aisle 6, checked the back door. Locked. He turned to head back and heard something fall. A metallic clatter, maybe 30 feet behind him. He spun around and aimed his flashlight. Nothing. Just shelves. He walked toward the sound. Aisle 8. He turned the corner and saw a box on the floor. It hadn't been there 2 minutes ago. He picked it up. Light. Empty. He set it on the shelf and kept walking. At 1:40 a.m., he reached the north side of the building. Another sound, this time closer. A rolling sound, like wheels on concrete. He turned and saw a pallet jack rolling down the center aisle. By itself. No one pushing it. It coasted about 15 feet and stopped. Ethan's mouth went dry. He walked toward it slowly. Hello. No answer. He grabbed the handle of the pallet jack. It was still warm. He pulled out his radio and called his supervisor. Hey, is anyone else in the building tonight? Static. Then, negative. Just you. What? Ethan explained. His supervisor said he'd check the cameras and called back. Ethan stood in the center aisle. Flashlight off now. Listening. For a full minute. Nothing. Then he heard breathing. Slow. Deliberate. Coming from somewhere above him. He looked up. The ceiling was open framework. Ductwork. Exposed beams. He aimed his flashlight up and scanned left to right. A hand pulled back behind a beam. Ethan ran. Full sprint toward the front office. He slammed the door shut and locked it. His radio crackled. Ethan, I'm reviewing footage now. I'm seeing wait. There's someone on the catwalk. I know, Ethan said. I saw them. No, the supervisor said. There's someone on the catwalk right now. Above the office. Ethan looked up. The office had a drop ceiling. Tiles. He could hear something moving above him. Footsteps. Slow. Directly overhead. The supervisor called the police. Ethan stayed in the office with the lights off. The footsteps stopped. At 2:03 a.m., the ceiling tile above the desk shifted slightly. Ethan aimed his flashlight up. The tile lifted an inch. 2 fingers curled around the edge. Ethan grabbed a box cutter from the desk and screamed, I have a weapon. The tile dropped back into place. The footsteps moved away fast, running now. Ethan heard a crash from the far end of the building. Police arrived 6 minutes later. They found a ladder propped against the catwalk. A blanket spread out on one of the beams. A duffel bag with clothes, food wrappers, and a phone charger. Someone had been living up there for at least a week. They never caught the person. Ethan quit the next day. Story 5. The voicemail. Nina got a voicemail at 11:34 p.m. on April 2nd. She was asleep. Her phone was on silent. She didn't see it until the next morning. The message was 1 minute and 43 seconds long. No caller ID. She played it. At first, just static. Then a voice. A woman's voice. Quiet. Shaking. Nina. Please, if you get this. Nina sat up. She didn't recognize the voice. The woman kept talking. I don't know how much time I have. He's coming back. I can hear him downstairs. Please, if you know where I am. The message cut off abruptly. Then silence. Then a click. Nina played it again. The woman said her name. Nina. Clear as day. She called the number back. Disconnected. She saved the voicemail and went to work. But all day, she couldn't stop thinking about it. At lunch, she played it for her coworker. Her coworker said it was probably a prank. Wrong number. But the woman said her name. That night, Nina got another voicemail. Same unknown number. This time, 2 minutes and 9 seconds. She played it immediately. The same woman. Crying now. Nina, please. He knows I called you. He's asking who you are. I didn't tell him. I swear I didn't. A door slammed in the background. The woman's voice dropped to a whisper. He's here. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have. A man's voice, distant but audible. Who the fuck are you talking to? The line went dead. Nina called the police. They traced the number. It belonged to a prepaid SIM card purchased in Oregon. No other records. They told her to block it and report back if she got another call. She didn't sleep that night. At 3:17 a.m., her phone buzzed. Another voicemail. She almost didn't play it. This time, the woman wasn't talking. Nina could hear muffled sounds. Movement. Breathing. Then the man's voice again, much closer now. You called someone named Nina. Who is Nina? The woman said nothing. Answer me. A pause. Then the woman, barely audible. I don't know. I don't know anyone named Nina. Then why did you say her name? The woman started crying. The man's voice got quieter, almost calm. If you don't know her, then she can't help you. Can she? The message ended. Nina filed another report. The detective said they'd escalated. They pulled cell tower data. The calls were pinging from different locations: Seattle, Portland, Eugene. No pattern. Nina hasn't received another voicemail since April 4th. She changed her number. But sometimes, late at night, she wonders if the woman is still out there, and why she knew Nina's name. Story 6. The Hotel Room. Chris checked into a Marriott in downtown Phoenix on May 18th for a work conference. Room 712. He dropped his bag, showered, and went to the opening session. He got back to his room around 9 p.m. Tired, ready to sleep. He brushed his teeth and climbed into bed. At 11:43 p.m., he woke up to a sound. A beep, like a key card being used on a door. He sat up and looked at the door. The handle turned. The door opened 6 inches, then stopped. He'd latched the deadbolt. A hand reached through the gap. Pale, thin fingers. It felt around for the chain lock. Chris yelled, "Wrong room." The hand froze, then slowly pulled back. The door closed. Chris got up and looked through the peephole. The hallway was empty. He called the front desk. "Someone just tried to get into my room." The front desk said they'd send security up. A guard arrived 10 minutes later. Chris explained what happened. The guard checked the hallway and said he didn't see anyone. He radioed down and confirmed no other key cards were issued for room 712. Chris asked to see the access log. The guard said only the manager could pull that. He offered to move Chris to another room. Chris said yes. They moved him to room 518. Different floor. Chris locked the door, set the deadbolt, and put a chair under the handle. He didn't sleep. At 2:04 a.m., he heard the beep again. His blood went cold. He looked at the door. The handle turned. The door opened against the chair. The same hand reached through. Chris shouted, "I'm calling the police." The hand stopped. This time, it didn't pull back. It just stayed there, fingers spread, motionless. Chris grabbed his phone and dialed 911. As the operator answered, the hand curled into a fist and knocked 3 times on the inside of the door. Chris ran into the bathroom and locked himself in. He stayed on the line with the operator. Police arrived 8 minutes later. The hand was gone. The door was closed. Security pulled the logs. No keycard access for room 518 after Chris checked in. The manager reviewed hallway footage. At 11:41 p.m., a woman in a hotel uniform walked up to room 712. She used a keycard and opened the door. When Chris yelled, she pulled back and walked away. At 2:02 a.m., the same woman appeared on the 5th floor. She walked directly to room 518. The manager said the woman wasn't an employee. The uniform didn't match theirs. Security checked the stairwells. They found the uniform discarded on the 4th floor landing. The woman was never identified. Chris checked out at 6 a.m. and flew home the same day. Story 7. The Running Trail. Morgan ran the same trail every Saturday morning in Boulder. 6 miles, mostly empty. She started at 7 a.m. sharp. June 10th was no different. She was 2 miles in when she noticed someone running behind her. A man, gray shirt, baseball cap, about 50 feet back. She didn't think much of it. People ran that trail all the time. A half-mile later, she glanced back. He was still there. Same distance, same pace. She sped up slightly. He sped up. Morgan felt her chest tighten. She took a sharp left onto a side trail that looped back toward the parking lot. It added a quarter mile, but it was more open, more visibility. She glanced back again. He'd taken the same turn. Her heart rate spiked. She pulled out her phone and texted her boyfriend. "Someone's following me on the trail." She kept running. The side trail merged back onto the main path. 60 feet ahead, she saw another runner coming toward her. A woman, late 50s. Morgan felt a wave of relief. As they passed, Morgan said, "There's a guy behind me. I think he's following me." The woman looked past her and nodded. "I'll stay here. Keep going." Morgan kept running. A minute later, she looked back. The woman was standing in the middle of the trail, facing the man. He'd stopped. They were talking. Morgan ran another 100 feet and stopped. She turned around. The man was gone. The woman was walking back toward her. "He said he was just running," the woman said. "I told him to go a different route." Morgan thanked her. The woman smiled and said, "You should never run alone." Morgan nodded and started running again. Faster now. She reached the parking lot 12 minutes later. Her boyfriend was already there, waiting by her car. She told him what happened. He asked if she called the police. She said no. The woman had handled it. Her boyfriend looked confused. "What woman?" Morgan described her. Her boyfriend pulled out his phone and showed her the trail app. "I've been tracking you the whole time. You didn't stop. You didn't talk to anyone." Morgan felt her stomach drop. She looked at the trail map. The side trail she took didn't loop back to the main path. It dead-ended at a ridge. She hadn't been on the main path for the last 2 miles. Morgan and her boyfriend drove back to the trail. They walked the route she described. The side trail was overgrown, barely passable. It ended at a steep drop-off. No way to merge back. Morgan stopped running that trail. She still doesn't know who the woman was or where the man went. Story 8. The doorbell camera. Tyler installed a Ring doorbell at his apartment in Seattle on July 22nd. He lived alone. Ground floor. Quiet building. The first week, nothing unusual. Mail deliveries. A neighbor checking their phone. Normal stuff. On July 29th at 2:46 a.m., Tyler got a motion alert on his phone. He opened the app. A man was standing on his doorstep, facing the door, not moving. Tyler watched for 30 seconds. The man didn't knock, didn't leave, just stood there. Tyler checked the live feed. The man was still there. He called out through the camera's speaker, "Can I help you?" The man turned his head slowly toward the camera. He smiled, then walked away. Tyler checked the recording the next morning. The man stood there for 4 minutes and 17 seconds before Tyler spoke. Then he left. Weird, but Tyler let it go. 3 days later, another alert. 3:02 a.m. The same man, same position. Tyler watched. The man stood there again, this time for 6 minutes. Tyler didn't say anything. Eventually, the man left. Tyler showed the footage to his landlord. The landlord said he'd never seen the man before. He told Tyler to call the police if it happened again. It happened again. August 5th, 2:58 a.m. The man was back. Tyler called the police immediately. He kept the live feed open. The man stood there, smiling at the camera, not moving. Tyler said, "Police are on the way." The man's smile widened. He raised one hand and knocked 3 times. Slow, deliberate. Tyler heard the knocks through his door. He grabbed a kitchen knife and stood in his living room. He could see the shadow of the man's feet under the door. The man knocked again. Police arrived 7 minutes later. The man was gone. They checked the area. No sign of him. Tyler showed them the footage. The officer recognized the man. "We've had reports about him. He's done this at 4 other apartments in the area. Same pattern. Always between 2 and 3 a.m. Always ground floor units." Tyler asked if they'd caught him. The officer shook his head. "Not yet. He's never broken in. Never made threats. Technically, he's not committing a crime." "Then what do I do?" Tyler asked. "Move to a different floor. Or a different building." Tyler moved 2 weeks later. He hasn't gotten another alert. But he checks his doorbell camera every night before bed. Story 9. The road trip. Kelsey and Jenna drove from Denver to Albuquerque on September 14th. They left at 6 p.m., straight shot down I-25. They planned to stop halfway for gas and food. Around 8:30 p.m., just south of Trinidad, they saw a car on the side of the road. Hazards on. Put up. A man was waving at them. Jenna slowed down. "Should we stop?" Kelsey looked at the man. He was wearing a reflective vest. He looked distressed. She said, "Call 911 and keep driving." Jenna called. The dispatcher said a tow truck was already en route. She told them not to stop. They drove past. Kelsey looked in the side mirror. The man was watching them. He wasn't moving toward the car. He was just standing there. 5 miles later, they saw another car. Same make, same model. Hazards on. Put up. A man in a reflective vest waving at them. Kelsey felt her pulse spike. "That's the same car." Jenna looked. "It can't be. We just passed it." They kept driving. Another 3 miles. Another car. Same setup. Same man. Kelsey said, "Floor it." Jenna hit the gas. They were doing 90. Kelsey kept watching the mirrors. No headlights behind them. 10 miles later, they passed another one. Jenna's voice shook. "How is this possible?" Kelsey didn't answer. She called 911 again. The dispatcher said no other calls had come in about stranded vehicles on that stretch. She asked for their location. Kelsey gave her the mile marker. The dispatcher paused. "Ma'am, can you confirm you're on I-25 southbound?" "Yes," Kelsey said. "There's no mile marker 174 on that route." Kelsey looked at the sign they just passed. It said 174. The dispatcher said, "I need you to pull over and tell me exactly where you are." Jenna took the next exit. It was unmarked. No gas stations. No lights. Just a 2-lane road leading into darkness. Kelsey told the dispatcher they were pulling over. The dispatcher said to stay on the line. They parked on the shoulder. Ahead, about a quarter mile down the road, they saw headlights. A car was coming toward them. Slowly. As it got closer, they saw the reflective vest. The man was driving. He stopped 20 feet in front of them. He got out and started walking toward their car. Kelsey screamed, "Drive!" Jenna threw it in reverse and floored it back onto the highway. They merged without stopping. The man didn't follow. They drove straight to Albuquerque without stopping. When they checked the GPS later, the exit they took didn't exist. There was no road there. Kelsey and Jenna don't take road trips anymore, and they don't stop for anyone. Story 10. The video call. Lauren's mom called her on FaceTime on October 8th at 7:15 p.m. Lauren was in her apartment in Chicago. Her mom lived in Tampa. Lauren answered. "Hey, Mom." Her mom's face filled the screen. She was sitting in her living room. The TV was on in the background. Everything looked normal. "Hi, honey," her mom said. "Just wanted to check in. How was your day?" They talked for a few minutes. Normal conversation. Work. Weekend plans. Her mom seemed fine. Then Lauren noticed something. Her mom's mouth was moving, but the words were slightly delayed. Like a bad connection. But the video was smooth. No lag. Lauren said, "Mom, are you on Wi-Fi or data?" "Wi-Fi." "What?" "The audio's a little off." Her mom frowned. "It sounds fine to me." Lauren let it go. They kept talking, but the delay got worse. Her mom's lips would move, and the sound would come a full second later. Then her mom said something that made Lauren freeze. "Lauren, I need to tell you something." Her mom's face went serious. "I'm not feeling well. I've been having chest pains." Lauren sat up. "What? When? Have you seen a doctor?" Her mom nodded. "I went yesterday. They ran tests. I'm waiting for the results." Lauren felt panic rising. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I didn't want to worry you." Lauren said, "Mom, this is serious. You should have called me right away." Her mom smiled softly. "I know. I'm sorry." They talked for another 10 minutes. Her mom said she'd call as soon as she got the results. They said goodnight and hung up. Lauren immediately called her mom back. It rang 4 times, then went to voicemail. She texted her, "Call me back when you can. I'm worried." No response. Lauren tried again. Still no answer. She called her mom's neighbor. The neighbor said she'd check on her and call back. 15 minutes later, the neighbor called. "Lauren, your mom's fine. She's right here. She said you just talked to her." Lauren felt confused. "I did, but she's not answering now." The neighbor put her mom on the phone. "Lauren, what's wrong?" "Mom, you just told me about the chest pains. Why didn't you pick up?" Her mom went silent. "What are you talking about?" "I didn't call you. I've been watching TV all night." Lauren felt her stomach drop. "Mom, we just FaceTimed 20 minutes ago." "Lauren, I haven't called you in 3 days." Lauren pulled up her recent calls. The FaceTime from her mom was there. 7:15 p.m. 11-minute duration. She played the recording. Her phone lets you save video calls. She hit play. It was her mom's face. Her mom's voice. But now, watching it back, she saw it. The eyes. They didn't blink. Not once. The whole 11 minutes. Lauren deleted the recording. She reported it to Apple. They said her account showed no sign of compromise. No one had accessed it. Lauren's mom changed all her passwords. They filed a police report. The detective said it was likely a deepfake scam, but they couldn't explain how the scammer got her mom's FaceTime account, or how the video was so seamless. Lauren doesn't answer video calls anymore unless she's expecting them, and she always asks a question only the real person would know. If you have a true scary story from 2025, submit it in the comments below. Stay safe out there.